All right, it's here officially. Ignore the episode 8 number. I mean, this is attempt number 8 for a podcast, but this is episode 1 for season 3. I'm so excited to be here with you guys. Start of the new season, start of the new year. Me and Brendan talked a lot about that season 3 we think is one that's going to go the hardest because we've got players who are dedicated here, couple people who stuck around from season 1 all the way to season 3, people who stuck around from season 2 going into season 3. So this is the season for competition, for the hard work. And I'm so excited. I've got Brendan here with me for the podcast. How are you feeling about season 3?
Very excited to get it kicked off. Obviously, massive changes to the League of Legends landscape with the map. So it's kind of a brand new palette. That's kind of the theme that you've coined for this season. So I'm excited to play into that and that or canvas, I should say, brand new canvas. So excited to see what our competitive players have to offer this season. This episode is going to be focused around the upper division. We'll do another podcast focused around the lower division as well. But to see what our upper division players have to offer us this season as far as the competitive scene goes. A lot of new players, a lot of new faces, as well as, like you said, some returning favorites as well. So very excited.
Yeah, well, you've been doing this now for a couple months, going all the way back, way back. This started as just an idea from based off of league weeklies. Ran through season 1. I don't remember what was the name of the season 1 championship team.
Uh, TBG.
TBG. I just know Aguri was on it, but TBG taking away the crown in season 1. Last season, if you were with us, Infernal Wolf Esports taking the crown in season 2. We'll have to see you. We'll go over the upper division teams later in the podcast, but we have, I think, 5 new teams, Brendan? 5?
We have, I would say five. Yeah. The third team that you're considering a returning team there is going to be a culmination of some returning players scattered across a few teams. So I would say there's five teams worth of players. But as far as just like straight up teams from last season, there's only two. There is a team from the same org, but it was none of those players were in the last season, so I don't consider that a returning team.
Gotcha. So a couple new faces when it comes to players, but here, kind of for the league, just again, introduction, first podcast episode. So what we as the production team and as staff are doing differently for season 3. Biggest thing, we've got a production team together. So streams are going to improve. We are for sure. We'll have 2 people on desk and a third person running OBS. So that will just overall improve the casting when it comes to stream matches. And then secondly, we have locked in days. We are asking teams to play on Friday at 8 Eastern. Is it 8?
Yes, 8 Eastern.
So 8 Eastern. So you as fans can tune in at the same time every week to catch the games. They are going to be best of threes. So be going for a little bit. Um, and those are really the big differences. A little bit of production staff going to be more assigned role. It's not just whoever volunteered for the day. And then coming at you for upper division every Friday at 8 Eastern. So very excited for that one. It makes for a lot more consistency. And from that, we can really start to improve. Um, I think that's all I've got for behind the scenes. I think a lot's not what a lot of you guys are here for. I think we can hop right into the team rundown, unless you have anything else to say, Brendan.
No, I think that another thing to add is as far as the staff goes, and forgive me if you already mentioned this, but because it's you, I don't think you did. Bretticus is going to be taking over our production lead role, so that's something that we're leaning into this season is production and the content that we're putting out, and so because of that, we've brought in Bretticus. He's gonna be primarily our production lead. He's organizing a lot of the content that we're gonna be putting out, and with that, this podcast should come to you every Tuesday at 8:30 Eastern. So mark that on the calendar. That's what we're going to shoot for. If there's something, personal issues that we can't get an episode, we'll keep you updated on that. But our goal is to have this out every Tuesday, 8:30 Eastern. And that's going to be covering both upper and lower division. There's going to be different voices on that podcast as well. And if you would like to participate in the podcast, obviously keep it family friendly. But if you want to join in and offer a player's coach or team manager or fan perspective, contact Bretticus for that, and he can get you set up to get on the podcast.
Yeah, I've had a lot of people reach out, a lot of team captains for upper division wanting to have a team takeover episode. So I actually have to schedule out the episodes, what's going to happen on each episode, and that's very exciting. So just know that you can reach out. Those who have, you're on my list. You're on a Google Excel sheet. Even though I don't excel at Excel, it doesn't look pretty, but I do have a plan, and we're gonna do some team takeover episodes, and I'm really looking forward to that this season. Again, the for me personally for this league, I wanted to make content that was from players for players. We've wanted Slash All to be an enjoyable experience for the players themselves. So this is just another thing that the players can participate in, and I'm so excited to bring it to you guys. Um, I just want to get right into it,
All right.
Brendan. If you
Yep.
can you throw the team icons up? Do you
I,
have
I've got the
one?
master sheet pulled up with the rosters, so I'm displaying right now the roster. This was based on registration, not favoritism, but I'm gonna let Brett take over. But this is Team Solo Invade that I'm showing on the screen right now.
I'm coining this. Brendan wanted to make this a point when we were talking about
Don't
the,
say this.
I am 100% saying it because I believe in this statement. This is the slash all super team.
Come on. I'm letting you take the lead on this one. This is my
I
team.
your substitutes are a Gurian or a Jester, who have been playing since season one of Slash All. Brendan has been on TSI every season the team has played and moved down to bot lane to play with Sid again. And you picked up Sinja and Ajuka from the championship team of last year. This is the Slash All super team. We do have one new face, Hero Joe, here, but he is a amateur competitive player in a different league. So there is a lot of talent on this roster, and I'm ready for this team to come out guns blazing.
Yep, I obviously can agree that I'm very excited for this roster. I personally like to temper my expectations. I always think that we can improve. This is completely from a player's perspective. But as far as just names and faces go, these are a lot of familiar names for the people who have been around slash all. Some of my favorite players to play with. Very excited. Yeah, so and
I mean, it's been cooking since season one to have Sinja and Brendan on a team together. And we saw how strong in season two Ajuka and Sinja are since they're explosive solo lane players. So I'm very excited for this team. But yes, for me personally, I'm coining this. This is the slash all super team.
all right. You want to now go to the next team that placed higher than us last season?
Yeah,
Okay.
the team who keeps TSI humble, Infernia is returning, and this is the exact same roster minus support, correct?
No, jungle is different here. But jungle and support are different. Okay, I should say that, but the jungler is a familiar name from last season. Last season, Pebblist was the mid laner for the first half of the season for Misery Amethyst, so is a familiar name, but is in a different role.
Yeah, and like what Pebblist really brings to the table is going to be some unique picks when it comes to draft. Playing Briar, Warwick, Talia. I'm really excited for some unique picks to come out here. But I mean, the storyline all of season two for Infernia being a returning team is Smoke is a complete unit. You see that person pick the Gwyn, and he will 1v9. So I'm excited to see that. Mr. Miyagi was a player who was really kind of in the background with this team, with Kishmek and Smoke taking the spotlight during the regular season. But when it came to playoffs, he started putting up numbers. He started having some snowball games. So he showed towards the end of season two, he is not somebody to be messed around with. So as a whole entire roster, Infernia they stayed together for a reason. All these players are bringing something to the table, but for this team specifically, I'm excited to see unique picks come out during draft.
Yeah, and to highlight that, Kishmak, that we call him Kishmak, obviously different name there. You see Kizak there. Previously last season he was Kishmak, but known for his tank mid laners. So this team does a lot of theory crafting and they execute to a top level. This was our a runner up team for last season, and they're returning the major players from their last season team. So this, in my opinion, is a very strong team to watch out for, especially early on in the season, because these players have played with each other for a very long time and they're very cohesive.
Yeah, so that is Infernia for you guys. Also, I did forgot to mention this, but for both these teams, Sid is still the captain for TSI. So thank you to him as a player for putting this together, and Smoke being the team for Infernia. Honestly, when it comes to captains, is very vocal. We had the team captains meeting last night, and he was very talkative. So I just appreciate him as a team captain coming up and showing up for the org.
Moved over to Divine Temple. So this is I'll take lead on this one. This is a new team. This team, very excited. Whoosh was, like you were talking about, activity in the team captain's last meeting. Divine Temple being a brand new team to slash all, very interesting. Corn on the cob in the jungle is really funny.
Iconic, iconic. I had to write it down because as I was looking at the master sheet, it was like popped off the screen at me. I'm like, that is hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, so to be frank with you, of course, like I do not have familiarity with a lot of these new teams. So, that's something like if there's any Divine Temple people in the chat who are familiar with your team aspect, give me something to highlight on this team, something to look forward to. Other than the whole team as a unit, I think all the new teams that we brought in are going to be, I think all of our teams this season are going to be very competitive. That's something we focused on last season, and it is definitely going to carry over into this season. So that none of these teams, there's not a single team on this list that's going to be head and shoulders above the rest, but there's also no teams that are head and shoulders or knees and toes below the rest. Is that how that works? Um,
I'm just singing, uh, head, shoulders, knees and toes.
yeah, so I guess to yeah, to run through the roster, Wuxi in the top lane, Corn on the Cob in the jungle. You got FSG in the mid lane, Tonic ADC role, and the support is Seeker. And then to round out the team for the substitute roles, you got Static, Mobe, and Expert Killer. So excited to see what Divine Temple has to offer for us this season. Um,
Um,
Go
as
ahead.
I was looking over the OP.GGs for this team, two things stuck out to me. Um, the support, Seeker, he plays a lot of Thresh, and I'm very excited to see those kind of playmaking supports come out of the role when you're really being proactive and making something happen on the map. So I have a little bit of a spotlight on that player once he hits the rift. But also, Whoosh plays Poppy adamantly, and as we all know, Poppy is best champion. I love that champion so much. And please, if they don't ban it, let's see it. I think it's brings so much value to the team, with the ultimate knockup, with the dash cancel, but then with your Q and your shield auto attack, you do so much damage. It's just overall it's such a good champion. And I'm so excited to see somebody in the league one tricking it. Ugh.
Yeah, so I've been kind of monitoring the chat. It seems like Mobe and Static are two names that stuck out to Sinja at least. So I don't know if those are familiar names in the scene. And then I see FSG in the chat talking about recently they won a charity match. He said, if that counts, haha. But I would say that is winning is counting. So
But winning is everything. Let's be honest.
it sounds like Sinja has played with Static before. And like all games Sinjin is in, it sounds like it was his fault that they lost.
There is. Oh wait, let me pull this up. Well, you can continue, and I can circle back to this later. So,
Okay. Yes, I moved
um,
on to Washed Up Warriors. who this team is actually one coming over from a familiar server around here, AKG. So, and there are some familiar names on this. So, if you notice on their sub role, you see Blocky Panda and Lava Man. Their substitutes. Those are two of the players that were on our lower division championship squad. So, those two players. Getting promoted up into the big leagues, so we'll see if they get a chance to play and shine. QT being the captain of this team, been in contacts with him. I believe they placed third in AKG's Emerald League last season, so very competitive team, of course. And one player to point out, Carrier Protein. I'm sure QT's been the one bugging him. I've been the one bugging QT. This guy has grinded about 40 ranked games over the past 2 weeks to be eligible for this league. He's definitely
Mhm.
willing to put in the work to play. So this is a team that has played together before, has placed highly in other leagues. So very excited to see how they fare in this slash all environment.
And this team, Washed Up Warriors storyline, what I've been told, I don't have confirmation on this. So if there is a Wash Up Warriors player in the chat, you can let me know. But supposedly Sage in the mid lane played with Gecko in the college Allegiant. Is that what it's called? League. So we do have some rivalry and some outside of league, outside of slash all league storyline already established when this team goes up against Roar Max. So Gecko can get some revenge here. So just saying, we have a player to player rivalry already established.
Yeah.
And then I'm a cutie again with the op.gg's plays the Master Yi, the Viego Nocturne Kindred, which is different from what Infernia plays. So very excited to see in the jungle role, across the board, different styles of champions, and from that different pathing and different styles when it comes to the macro of the game. I think we'll see a lot of attention put towards the jungle and what that player is trying to do.
Yeah, very excited. So that's Washed Up Warriors. Um,
Sedge, don't forget the Sedge.
let's move on over to I got the last minute edition TPO Cheeser on my screen. So this is a team organized by Troll Picks Only organization by our lower division commissioner Loki. This is a team from their org. I have not seen these people play, but I believe I'm in their server, and I do believe this team has placed very well, if not first, in their last or previous to last. I, to be honest, don't keep up with a lot of the servers out there, but I have seen this team's name and I've always seen positive records and high standings from this team. So, just briefly, I know that they have some good players. They've played together. Might be some internal drama on the team from what I've heard too. So if they can get over that, they can scale in to the late game. This is also going to be these are now the two teams that are going to be playing in our first streamed match on Friday. It is going to be the TPO Cheeser versus Divine Temple. So we've gone over those two teams. So you can look forward to seeing those two teams on Friday. You'll see all these players in action. And shout out to
All new
Loki to
players.
give
Go
me a logo.
ahead. I was gonna say all new players, new teams. Week one, that's gonna be this Friday. So everybody will get to see a picture of those teams and those players. Show us what you've got. Bring it to the table. Funny Beaver, you've already got my vote with a summoner name like that. But also another shout out to early slash all. Um, uh, Abdos, the jungle, plays Shyvana. So that pick might be coming back.
Sweet. Yeah. So that's the Cheesers. I'm looking in the chat. I don't see any notes on them, any players giving me any sort of insight to their team. So we'll move on to Elysium. This is a weird one to say, but Elysium is, I believe, what I've been told. One of inside scoop, one of the coaches for TSI Waffle. Is a part of this org as well, and I believe he pronounced it Elysium. So this is Elysium
Elysium.
Clown
Y'all
Car.
don't understand that I went to speech therapy when I was 3 and like struggle with pronunciation and like um uh what did I uh what did I call Chronomist?
Uh,
Cromster. Y'all
The
are just like,
Crumster.
yeah. You guys just want to see a rerun of that.
And I'm being told that
Elysium.
the Roman version of heaven is Elysium, so that's where that word comes from. It's not just some random word that someone came up with.
Okay, but that's actually cool.
Yeah,
Like Elysium on. That's cool. That's cool.
I like their logo. I will admit that this doesn't give it. Let me do a little quick editing for you guys. It does have Elysium in the logo as well. It just doesn't show up on my black background or on my white background. Sorry. So their logo looks even cooler than it appears on the screen right now. But I guess to run through this team, I've been told from Sinja that Emperor was a team that Sinja played on the Jungler in a Risen team. So there's familiarity there. Let me check the chats.
Zooey? So again, I was going through the op.ggs. We vet all of our players. Um, Sitting on a 75% Neferi win rate with a 56% win rate on Katarina. Explosive mid laner.
Oh,
And just kind of like that, my spotlight will be on him when we get to see this team come out and play. Those win rates are absurd.
Dilly and Yeecaw are perennial tournament winners and throughout Plat Emerald scenes. So this team has experience. I know this org is big. They have their own production team. They have a lot of teams. They've been around for a long time, and these players have been part of winning tournament teams. So this is another team that I see being, if we were to give preseason power rankings, this is another team that I would put up there high in the power rankings based on just kind of like team brand success and stuff like that. So this is a team to look out for sure.
Uh, Crusaders next.
Yeah, let's pan over to the Crusaders.
Shout out where credit is credit due. Merc Masta is the captain for this team. Also is the jungle. Is in the army. So a huge kind of hero we have in our own community, but also is going to be showing up on production for lower divisions. So already just a big personality and very excited for him to be participating in the league. So shout out there to that player. But with me, with this team, Ronnie World, talking about how Slash All was kind of constructed from the leftovers of season two championship team. Ronnie World was on that team, and he's the substitute for this team. So the Shadow Panda will have a lot of pressure to kind of perform. Because I'm curious, why is Ronnie the sub? Shadow Panda also plays the Ash, plays the Vayne. So he must be really good to be replacing Ronnie here. So I'm very excited to see that.
Yeah, big shoes to fill for the Shadow Panda, Ronnie World, like you mentioned, season two champion. So we'll see if he is up to the task to perform at Ronnie's level. Merkmaster, like you said, I've played with Corey before, very good support in the support role for them. I have not had exposure to Diabellum or Boo Boo Bear, but this is a part of the Infernia org, and we know they're run well. They placed second in our league last season, so I'm sure that their second team that they've entered is no slouch, and they're going to be looking to make a statement early to dethrone the quote unquote main roster or first roster, whatever you want to call it. They're gonna be out to prove that they're not the little brother in this relationship.
For sure.
Last team, you ready?
No.
Oh, what? You're not? Oh yeah, because of the name.
No, I'm not because of that name.
Roar Mechanicus. That's what I've coined it. If they want to tell me that that's not how you say it, um, you definitely can. But that's the way that I phonicate it. I think that's a word. But this team, it is a team that was put together, I believe, mainly by Unknown Father and Blue Man as a kind of free agent oriented team. They've kind of pieced this team together. So a big part for this team is going to be how they can start to build that cohesion, because I don't think that they've been playing fully together for a long time. There may be a few duos, trios here that have been playing for a while, but it's almost like two pieces coming together. So this could be one of those teams that could either come off to a slow start and ramp up towards the end of the season, or maybe just being fresh faces, they instantly click and are just able to like perfectly synergize with each other and take off early on in the season and realize even more that that their teammates were what they were missing, kind of thing, if that makes sense. Sponsored by Roar. This team is one that I'm excited to see, and one that I know that they've put in a lot of work to put together.
I'm very excited. Out of this one, Gecko is returning to Upper Division. Was on the Goblins team that went up against TBG. And as he claims, that was on his off roll. So he's going to be going back to 80 carry in the bot lane there. So big kind of stakes, big shoes to fill coming back to the big scene here for Gecko. So that's going to be one spotlight. And then Unknown Father, as you were talking about, kind of being individual pieces and trying to find a team cohesion. As a player, he plays the Lowy, he plays Urgot, these kind of solo carry top laners. So we'll have to see how the team works around that and works around having a skirmisher damage dealing top laner.
Yeah, I guess my last note for this team, like you had mentioned, and I didn't touch on before, Gecko, when he was playing 80 carry last in Slash All, that was season one, in which his team Goblins placed second. Excuse me, placed second. So he has performed highly on that role. We'll see how he fares coming back into it, and piloting this team, as well as Gecko and Blue Man. At one point, I think he ranked out, but Gecko and Blue Man both, I believe, came from the lower division last season. So promotion for them, looking to make their mark on the upper division.
Yeah, this team, along with Washed Up Warriors, kind of have been, our teams that promoted to be moving up and showing that they can fight with the big leagues.
Cool. Yeah. So that rounds up the overview of our the 8 teams that we have competing in Slash All Upper Division. With that, I'm going to blitz over here to the Week 1 schedule and let you take over, Brett, and kind of give us a rundown of the matchups.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. We have the kind of loose pieces of Mechanicus going up against Team Solo Invade. All players have been playing together and scrimming a lot together, so it will be kind of like which one's more important, the team cohesion or individual pieces for that matchup for TSI versus Mechanicus. Infernia teams are going to be clashing there, so that'll be exciting to see who comes out ahead there within the league. I bet a lot of fun for those players. We'll see some banter and all chat for that one. Um, and then I'll skip over this one, skip down one. Elysium Clown Car and Washed Up Warriors. We'll get to see some stats and some picks come out to get a vibe for these two new teams as they clash. But our streamed match is going to be TPO Cheesers and Divine Temple. All new names, new faces, new teams, all on the stream. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We also will have JC coming in to cast that game with a shout out here, Spirited Book, coming in and is going to be a big part of our upper division production. And I'm very excited for that. So overall, on Friday, all brand new slash all content. And it's going to be fun.